One of the questions I get a lot is when you're introducing guardrails and controls to how AI performs or plays its role in a AI powered product, you're essentially limiting its creative abilities and its ability to really leverage the unique advantages of using a tool like that. How do you see the dichotomy between introducing more controls over your AI versus enabling your AI to be creative in the ways that could be very beneficial and powerful to your end users?
It is an interesting trade-off. I think our first real shot at trying to help people solve this is with the Assistance API. And I think why that's the case is because the Assistance API, it lets you abstract away the actual message conversation from the assistant itself. So you can dynamically pass around the whole thread of messages to different assistants. And this really gives you substantial amount more control in what context do I want more freedom for the users and for the models to be able to answer as they have been trained to do, and in what situations do I really want to lock down and constrain the ability for these models to give outputs. Again, it's not like the ultimate end solution to this problem, but I think that layer of abstraction should hopefully be really helpful for people who are thinking about this. And you can essentially just like define different system messages, define different tools, define access to different things like files in all these different situations. And then from a normal software engineering standpoint, you have some state of a conversation, and depending on where that conversation is in the application lifecycle, you change these parameters, give the conversation, pass it to a different assistant, and make it have access to these different things.
That's really interesting. And that's probably weaved into some of the messaging for the Assistance API launch that was just a few weeks back. But I'm not sure if I understood it that way, but that makes a ton of sense. That's a really interesting way to look at it. So, are there other releases that OpenAI has done along the same thread of decoupling specific pieces around state that are facilitating this exact thing?
I think assistance is our first shot on goal. It's still crazy to think now that like chat completions is like every time you send a new message through the chat completions API, it is completely unrelated to any other request that you've ever sent to the chat completions API. And I think it makes a lot of sense from a sort of priority stack of us building these APIs. But I think like now looking at that in comparison to the world of assistance where you don't need to worry about each individual message and keeping track of that history yourself, it's just like an order of magnitude more convenient as a developer to build something and not have to worry about all those details. I don't think we have like another product that's similar to this, but I'm hopeful that as we continue to build more and more of what we offer keeps in mind all the statefulness of the problem that we're trying to solve. Because it really is, my gut instinct is it's a very stateful problem. The state of the conversation and all these other things matters, and therefore to make APIs that keep that in account and developers don't have to solve those problems themselves.